Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, back in the studio on a Monday morning. How you been, sir?
How about you? That's the question. You're the one on vacation.
Well, I've just had to actually burn them or lose them, so I had to use them, and a good time. Nice staycation, if you will. Sleeping in till 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. Ooh, doggy.
Ain't nothing wrong with sleeping till 7 p.m. either.
I know, especially when we usually get up. But I will say it was nice. Nice to be home. Nice to get some of the stuff that you just let go because life's too busy. And it's all show. And obviously watched a ton of football. So let's reverse this. I don't want to get into the Chiefs just yet. But going into this weekend, obviously, we were kind of down because we lost to the Lions on Thursday by 1. But then after yesterday, there were some surprises. Let's first off start with those Cincinnati Bengals.
How about that? Cincinnati going into Cleveland and losing to the Browns and losing decisively. And
not even scoring a touchdown.
And this is with Jeff Burrows, the wealthiest player in pro football. I got a kick out of one of the Bengals players. He said, "We just lost to the Elves." What an insult to Cleveland. Anyway, the Browns are not all that bad, but to lose to them, even though it was Cleveland's home opener, that doesn't make any sense. But another one that does help is the Chargers. Don't sell the Miami Dolphins short. They're a good football team, but I really think the Chargers have a better team, but they didn't win yesterday. Miami beat them. And then the Raiders going into Denver and knocking off the Denver Broncos. I really felt like Denver, I still do. I think Denver's going to be a much better team from what they have been, but they weren't yesterday. 17-16, the Raiders beat them, and, hey, that helps out the Chiefs immensely. So it wasn't all that bad a weekend.
No, it was not that bad of a weekend. But, again, if you play fantasy football and you went with a bunch of players that you thought were going to score you a bunch of points yesterday, you probably got screwed, just like a lot of us, because it didn't work out that way. But you know what? This will be the only time in the regular season, hopefully, that the Vegas Raiders are number one in the AFC West, but that is the way it is right now because all the other teams in the AFC West lost. As of right now, the Chiefs have any sideline players minus Chris Jones on the list for this upcoming Sunday in Jacksonville.
The Chiefs will put Travis Kelce through another workout today and then another one tomorrow to be definitive, but it's fully expected that he will play. A deep bone bruise, which is really a hyperextension of the knee. It's an auxiliary of that, so to speak, but he hyperextended the knee and then did have that bone bruise in there, and that's painful, and I think the Chiefs did the right thing by keeping him out of the lineup. He will be and should be effective now for the rest of the season, barring any kind of other mishap, but the fact remains that Kelce not being in there probably did affect the Chiefs to some extent, and so did Jones' absence, although with Jones out of there, the Chiefs have worked around him all fall camp. So there was probably a method in place to replace him. But he was there at the game. Still no sign that he's going to sign anytime soon. I don't know. This is just a mess. And more power to him. What he wants, I guess he's going to get. And the Chiefs are playing hardball with him.
I don't think it's worth that kind of money. And you know, I've been asked it 1,000 times. I thought against the Lions, we didn't get a chance to talk about it. I thought the best-looking part of the Kansas City Chiefs was the defense that night.
Defense played well.
I thought they did play well. And
Detroit is a pretty doggone good football team. Don't sell them short.
Hell no. Arguably one of the best offensive lines in the league. They have arguably one of the best up-and-coming running backs in the league, in my opinion. He is a stud, and we held him.
From Georgia Tech, yeah, he is a really good player. You know, he's an interesting character. He started his career at Alabama and then could not make the starting backfield there, so he transferred to Georgia Tech, had a big 3 years, and now with the Detroit Lions, and he's going to be
I think he's going to have a few good years. You watching him, especially in the fantasy football world. All right, so we do have a marquee game tonight for Monday Night Football, and that's the Jets and Giants, my man.
Second consecutive night game now at MetLife Stadium in actually New Jersey. They're across the Hudson River in Jersey. But this one is the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets tonight. Aaron Rodgers makes his debut in the Big Apple, hopefully for his team and for Jets fans, and Giants fans for that matter, that the game goes a whole lot better than last night's did because the Dallas Cowboys went in there and absolutely embarrassed the New York Giants 40-0. This is a shutout, folks. A shutout, that doesn't happen in the NFL. But it did in this game. 40-0. The New York Giants totally blanked with the Dallas Cowboys, and that's not very good. See if they have a big house tonight for Aaron Rodgers, and I'm sure they will.
I think it's going to be a big, big house, but some of those promo photos and videos they were playing last night during the Sunday night game for tonight's game, looking a little, I don't want to make it a big deal because it's not like I need to say anything, but he's looking a little older.
He's looking
a little long in the tooth.
Hey, let me tell you something. From personal experience, it does happen.
It does happen to everyone. Yes, you are right about that. Last but not least, how about that U.S. Open? Do you have a good time watching that?
I did, and this is great tennis. Absolutely great, and we did get an American champion for a change at the U.S. Open. Coco Gauff defeated Aryna Sabalenka in the women's championship. That was on Saturday. And then in the men, you knew Novak Djokovic was going to have his way. He was not facing Carlos Alcaraz, the number one player in the world, who got knocked out of it by the guy Djokovic did play, Daniil Medvedev, who's a fine player, not as flashy, but a really good, solid player. But Djokovic took him out in straight sets, although that second set was a tiebreaker. Nonetheless, straight set victory for Djokovic. Djokovic and Coco Gauff were the champions at Flushing Meadow.
Me and a buddy went down to Nashville to see a concert Saturday at the Brooklyn Bowl, which if you ever are in Nashville, Tennessee, I would strongly suggest going to that venue because it's amazing. You get to watch a concert, and they've got a bowling alley surrounding the stage, so you can literally rent a lane for the entire show, bowl with your buddy, watch a concert. But, guess what? It's also built into the complex where the minor league team, the Nashville Sounds play, and while they were in there that night, the Memphis Redbirds were in town, so I got to watch part of that game, see a show. It was a great time. I had a good time.
Now see, that's your ultimate concert right there. Got the music, got the baseball.
Got to do some bowling, got to do some drinking, went to Dino's.
Wait a minute, was drinking involved?
Oh, yeah. Was it? Yeah, we had a good time, and partying with a bunch of kids from Vanderbilt. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, that was a lot. That was a really cool thing to see. So it was nice to have a night of baseball because my buddy and I kept talking about how it's just kind of been a down year for us here in Missouri. It's just been like, okay, baseball, yay. Really, other than the Springfield Cardinals, there hadn't been a whole lot to cheer for.
Springfield Cardinals are to cheer for, though. They're playing well.
Yes, they are.
Really playing well.
But St. Louis and Kansas City.
They're your ultimate teams. The Cardinals did lose yesterday 7-1 to the Cincinnati Reds. We're going for a sweep. Cardinals were going for a 3-game sweep, didn't get it. Now tonight they begin a 3-game series with the team with the second best record in Major League Baseball, the Baltimore Orioles, in Baltimore. But you say that, and are the Cardinals quaking in fear? Hardly, because they took 2 out of 3 from the team with the best record, and that's the Atlanta Braves, and that was last week. So, hey, they'll get in there. They'll play baseball. That's what it's all about. But of course, the Cardinals are well out of the running now, but the Baltimore Orioles are not, and many are considering them to be a World Series contender, which should be pretty doggone good.
Absolutely. Like I said.
Yeah, like you said, it's baseball. It's part of the fabric.
Yeah.
I didn't mention the Kansas City Royals. They fell to the Toronto Blue Jays, who are also in the playoff hunt. But here in town, the Springfield Cardinals are playing Magic Baseball. Ahead, they lost their game yesterday, or seemingly so. Tied it in the 9th, won it in the 10th, their 8th straight win. That's 8 straight wins, and they are now 1 game in front in the race for a playoff berth. With 6 games remaining, beginning tomorrow night in San Antonio. They'll play the San Antonio, almost call them the Spurs.
Yeah.
San Antonio Missions in 6 games, and it still could go awry. You never can tell what might happen. But the Cardinals have a 1-game lead over Wichita, the Wind Surge. They are playing their final 6 games. And then the playoffs would begin if Springfield makes it on the 19th of September with 1 game here and 2 if 2 are necessary.
3-game series.
They're all 3 games. Mm-hmm. All the championship games are 3 games.
3-game series, but hey, let's go Cards. I'd love to see them make it back to the playoffs. It's been a minute. We had college football action on Saturday. Some pretty good games there as well. By the way, how you doing so far in your...
I'm glad you mentioned that.
It's going to be another long fall for me if this is the way...
Since you mentioned it, I won't.
It's going to be a long fall for Mike dealing with the ups and downs of the college football season.
It is awful. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the Bears. Fell behind 24-7 to Tennessee Martin. Tennessee Martin's a good team. But the Bears came back, tied the game, had a chance to win, did not do so. In the final minute and a half, Tennessee Martin scored the winning touchdown, 38-31. So the Bears, who are headed into a bye week next weekend, their bye week comes very early this year, are 0-2, have one more non-conference game remaining, and that'll be their home opener on the 23rd against Utah Tech. Utah Tech? Who in the world is that? Well, they used to call themselves Dixie State and had to politically change their name last year, so they're Utah Tech now. Anyway, beside that, then the Bears get into conference play, and conference play will be very tough indeed. But the Bears do have, in my opinion, a representative team. Southwest Baptist up in Bolivar lost their game, played Black Hills State from Rapid City, South Dakota, 39-35 in Bolivar, and the Black Hills State team won the game. Evangel is undefeated. Evangel played here, actually played in Nixa over the weekend, and defeated Sterling College 55-0. This is a new league that Evangel's in now, the Kansas Athletic Conference. KCAC is what the Kansas Collegiate Athletic Conference is what they call them. New conference for them, and right now, Evangel's Valor has not lost.
Let's go, baby. We're also in the playoffs for NASCAR, correct?
We are indeed.
Who got the win yesterday?
This is race number 2 in the first 3 games of the way the playoffs. After this, the field will be cut. Tyler Reddick won it. They raced up in Kansas City at the Kansas City Speedway. The Kansas City race on the NASCAR circuit is always scheduled opposite the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, get this now. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl. So when the NASCAR folks put their schedule together, if they won the Super Bowl, that means that they would probably play on Thursday night. Now, keep in mind, that's not a rule. It is a courtesy to the Super Bowl champions, but you know pretty well that's what's going to happen. So that's why they scheduled the race on a Sunday in September, knowing the Chiefs would not be playing, not because they're not away, they were, but in fact because it was a Thursday night game.
And they're a lot smarter people working there than us. Ned, you have a great day, and it's good to be back with you, sir.